That's my son. That is a philosophy that we want to have. So what we're going to talk about here is we're going to talk about the inner game, right? Or what we call the bulletproof mindset. One thing to understand is that consciously or unconsciously, you have a certain identity about yourself. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, you believe certain things. What's up, bro? You believe certain things about yourself. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, you either believe that you're a winner, that you deserve success, right? Or you believe that you're not a winner, that you're slacking off, that you're lazy, that you procrastinate. But whether you consciously think it or unconsciously think it, what you think is creating your identity. Why do some people, it's kind of like a thermostat. If we set the thermostat in this group, and I learned this from Ed Milet, if you set the thermostat in this room to 70, right?
It's below that, by the way.
The what?
It's below that right now.
Okay. That's smart though, right? To keep everybody awake. If you set the thermostat to 70, for example, then you leave the windows open all night long, but the thermostat stays on. Then you come back and you close the windows and you leave the thermostat on. What's the temperature eventually going to get to? 70. Because it was set to 70. Does that make sense? It'll rise back up. Same thing with the identity of the person. You could be a $100,000 per year person, a $250,000 per year person, a $500,000 per year person, $1 million, whatever the case is. From time to time, you can have some challenges. Can we agree? But the identity that somebody has about themselves will get them up to that level again. Okay? And what are some of the things that shape your identity? Okay? Your attitudes and your actions. The only two things that we can control is our attitudes and our actions. You see, for example, the actions are to go out there and prospect. Can we agree?
Yes.
Yes, the actions are to go out there and prospect. Here's one thing I teach salespeople all the time. When you're new or when you're not making money, right? When you're not making the kind of money that you want, you're probably not having the right attitude. Because if you have the right attitude, you take the right actions. I can't control if I knock on somebody's door and the guy or girl, the homeowner, is interested or not interested. Or if I meet somebody that wants to list their home and they choose not to list with me. What I can control, though, is my actions. That moment and my actions leading up to there. How sharp am I? What is the identity that I have of myself, right? So, for example, here's some questions. Would you follow you? Would you work with you? Would you buy from you? Would you list from you?
Hell yeah.
Right? That's what the answer has to be. But see, I used to sell real estate many years ago. And I asked myself these questions, and honestly speaking, when I barely started, the answer to those questions, if I was being honest with myself, because you can't lie to yourself, you know what the truth is in your heart. For me, the answer was no to these in the beginning. When I learned that when the answer becomes yes, see, now the identity that I have is I have the identity of a winner. Regardless how anybody else looks at me, I look at myself as a winner. Why? Because I know that I'm going to go harder, longer than other people. I know that when this guy's making excuses, I'm making it happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know that I'm a problem solver. Some of you guys might have saw this video on social media earlier this week. I said, quit wanting what you don't want. You want problems. But see, people that do not have a bulletproof mindset, here's their philosophy. Problems are bad. No, problems are good. If you got no clients and no listings, you got no problems other than money problems. Does that make sense? But guess what? I would much rather not have the money problems and have a problem that a property is priced too high. Does that make sense? Than to have the problem that I can't pay the bills. Does that make sense? I would rather have a problem that I got too many buyers, too many listings that I can't handle and I got to hire somebody else. That's a problem. Can we agree?
That's a good
Yes.
one.
That's a good problem. But guess what, though? Most people look at problems when they're really situations. Here's how I differentiate the two. If money or people can solve it, it's not a problem. It's a situation. Too many times, money or people can solve a situation and people drown in a cup of water. Does that make sense? It's not that big of a deal, but they drown in a cup of water. Why? Because their identity is an identity not of a person that solves the problems. Say, hey, move out of the way. I got this. I'm the guy or I'm the girl that gets things done, that solves the problems. So when you develop that identity of yourself of a winner, that identity of yourself as, hey, I'm going to make it happen. How do you develop that identity? By keeping the promises to yourself. By saying, hey, listen, I'm going to go out there and prospect 5 days a week, whatever the number is. 3 days a week, 5 days a week. I'm going to make X amount of phone calls. I'm going to knock on X amount of doors. And you go out there and do it. But see, most people are programmed to be mediocre. And it's not necessarily their fault to a certain extent. Because can we agree that we live in a world of mediocrity?
Yes.
Yes. We live in a world where kids get participation trophies. See, I don't know about you, but see, I didn't grow up with participation trophies. There was 3 places. If your ass didn't place, you didn't get a trophy.
Yeah, I love that.
Matter of fact, I grew up competing. I don't want even a 3rd place trophy. I would accept it out of sportsmanship. I would shake my opponent's hand out of sportsmanship. But see, nowadays, society has created what I believe a snowflake society. A snowflake society. And you know why one of the reasons is that a lot of people's identity is messed up? One of the themes of success and joy is looking at comparing yourself to other people. Now, if you admire somebody and that's something that you want to model, that's cool, right? But for example, nowadays on Instagram, here's the deal. On social media, everybody is showing their highlight reel. They're not showing all their losses. They're not advertising none of their losses. So most people's life on social media is not all it's cracked up to be. Can we agree? Yes. Pictures that go on social media, 99% of pictures that go on social media, that's not how the person really looks. Okay?
Or the houses.
Or the houses. That's right. I'm in the beautiful city of Afghanistan. Showing this listing in the beautiful city of Afghanistan. It's okay, you got to play the deal, right? But the point that I'm getting to... Yeah, I know. I know the mayor of Adelanto. He's my buddy. That's funny. But the point that I'm getting to, ladies and gentlemen, is that what you buy from you, and a lot of that is determined by your mindset. So here's a story. There's a elderly Cherokee brave who told his grandson about this battle between a good wolf and a bad wolf, right? Now, the good wolf had a couple of oops, let me go back. Okay. Had a couple of good qualities. He had tenacity, kindness, perseverance, humility, understanding, motivation. The bad wolf, on the other hand, had a bunch of bad attributes. Jealousy, laziness, hate, resentment, spite, ego, a bunch of things. Fill it in, right? So the grandson, what he does is he asks grandfather, which one will win? Grandfather, which one of these will win? And the grandfather simply says, whichever one you feed. Every single day there's a battle in our mind. Every single day there's a battle in our mind, right? All the time. Most people self-talk, and for those of you guys taking notes, I would write this down. Most people's self-talk is negative. Unconsciously negative. I'm not good enough. I'm not experienced enough. I don't have enough training. I'm a woman. I'm a man. I'm Mexican. I'm too tall. I'm too short. I'm too bald. I'm too whatever. But here's the deal about the self-talk is that most people's self-talk is unconscious. They don't even realize that. Guess what that's also shaping? Your identity and your attitude. Of course. So here's one thing that I would encourage people to do. Start thinking about what you're thinking about. Consciously, be conscious about your thoughts. Be conscious about your inner game. Because trust me when I tell you, look, most of you guys, I would imagine, work here, right? Most of you. Raise your hand if you work for this office. Okay, great. A lot of you guys work for this office. A lot of very sharp people work for this office. Here's the deal. One of the reasons why you guys work at this office is because Jose's identity is the identity of somebody that deserves to be partnered with people like you. Does that make sense? If he didn't think highly of himself, you wouldn't follow him. If his vision was smaller than your vision, you wouldn't be here. Right? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Of course. Is Jose's office, right, blessed because some of you guys are here? Yes. Yes. Now, are you guys blessed also because of this office? Yes. Yes, it goes vice versa, right? But guess what? The identity, though. This guy believes more now than he believed then. One of my mentors told me a long time, I said, hey, how do I go to the next level? I've been stuck at this income level for a long time. How do I go to the next level? And he says, you have to believe bigger, faster. You have to believe bigger, faster. Les Brown says, hey, listen, it's not that people aim too high and miss. is that they aim too low and hit. So here's the deal. Too many people, they're struggling to make ends meet. Guess what? That's why they're broke. Because ends don't meet. Right? That's why they're called ends. So guess what? Their goals are, hey, I want to make enough money to pay the bills. I want to make enough money to get out of debt. If all you're thinking is, I want to see, the words that you say and think don't come back void, especially when there's emotion behind them. So when you're doing that, guess what? At the best case scenario, you're going to figure out how to pay the bills. So then we get back to the think bigger, faster. Right? So instead of thinking, let me pay the bills, instead of thinking, I want to close an escrow this month, or I want to get a listing this month, why don't you start thinking about how you can get 3 listings this month, and 3 escrows this month, or whatever the equivalent for you is. Does that make sense? Here's a question, are there people right now closing 10 escrows per month? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely there are. Absolutely there are. Now let me ask you this. Do they fly around in a spaceship or something that you don't have? Do they have access to a market that you cannot go into and get access? Do they have 25 hours in a day or 24? Oh, so guess what? They breathe air like you do. They bleed the way that you do. They can talk to people like you do. They can make better decisions the way you can. So if they can, why can't you? You know why? Because at one point, their identity grew to believe that they believe to close 10 escrows. Does that make sense? That they believe to have 5 listings, 10 listings. Does that make sense? So when your identity grows, but guess what? Your identity is never going to grow if you're not out there paying the price. If you're not out there being consistent. Because most people, here's what they're going to do. Can we agree that in the beginning of the year, Happy New Year? That's what you hear, right? Happy New Year. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. At the same time, this whole Happy New Year thing, okay? At the same time, this whole Happy New Year thing is not even true. There's nothing happy nor new about it. There's nothing happy nor new about it. They've been saying the same Happy New Year for the last 10, 20 years. Then if you ask them, hey man, what was new last year about the year before that in your life? Well, shit, nothing. The only thing new, what's up? Between 2019 and 2020, what's up? My hairline, that's it. Right? Nothing is up. But instead, the people that choose to do this, what's up? My bank account is up. My escrows are up. My income is up. My confidence is up. My identity is up. You know why? Because I decided, right, to leave the old me in the past. Decide. That's a key word. Decide. It rhymes with homicide, suicide. What do those have in common? And I learned this by John Addison. I recommend you guys listen to John Addison.
Never take a action like one screwed up.
That's right. That's right. John Addison. And he says, listen, here's one of the key things that he said. He says, in life, right, some people's some days will become a handful of people's everydays. Some people, some days, like someday, I'm going to get out of debt. Someday, I'm going to be a top producer. Someday, I'm going to take my family vacation. Someday, until they run out of days. And then one day comes around and they're in their deathbed, wondering what happened to all of those days. You know what the problem is? Someday, look in your calendar, doesn't exist. Monday exists. Monday through Sunday exists, but not someday. Right? But see, for the people that choose to create that identity, to focus on majors, see, it says here, don't major in minors. For those people that choose to focus on majors, and I'm going to talk about what those majors are. For those people that focus on majors consistently, if you don't have the income that you want, and some of you guys do, congratulations. But if you don't, it's 2 things. You're either not doing something right. It's simple. Here's a formula. It's simple. You're either not doing something right, or you're not doing something often enough. Think about this. If you want to get in the best shape of your life, is it cool to go to the gym and work out hard on Sunday, eat right on Sunday, and then do whatever you want the rest of the week? No. You did the right thing one day. That's not the key. That's part of the key. The key is you got to do the right things, and you got the leadership, you got the systems. Because of the internet, everybody, you realize that everybody's the equivalent of a genius nowadays. No matter how stupid you are. You're actually not stupid. You're a genius. All the world's information is online. That's why we have snowflakes. Because you got the equivalent to know the best rebuttals, the best prospecting, the best system. We all do, right? And what do most of us do? We use that system, the internet, to entertain ourselves. Here's a question I ask all the time. What's your favorite Lamborghini commercial? Oh, guess what? You don't have one. You know why? Because Lamborghini doesn't make commercials. You know why? Because people that drive Lamborghinis aren't at home, Netflix and chilling, watching TV. Can we agree?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we could agree. Lamborghini knows my customers, they ain't at home procrastinating, Netflix and chilling. They ain't keeping up with their Kardashians. They're keeping up with their prospecting. They're keeping up with their escrows. See, my identity, I work from home, right? I work from home. I get up at 6 in the morning, between 6 and 6:30. I have my coffee. I don't look at my phone. I have my coffee by myself. My son and my wife are still asleep. And the baby on the way, still asleep too. Probably, right? And guess what? For about an hour, I'm chilling. I'm relaxing. Feeling grateful. Then about 7:45, 8 a.m., I walk into my home office and I get to work. And I do not stop working until the job is done. Not when I'm tired. See, most people, they're going to stop when they're tired. Winners stop when we're done. I said, here's my to-do list. Here's how many, I got to make 50 calls today. I got to fix this deal. I got to fix that deal. I got to do this presentation. I'm going to be done, if that's 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'm going to be done when my job is done for the day. I take a break to have lunch with my family. A couple days a week, I take an additional 30 minutes in the middle of the day to play with my son. And I put my phone in the office. Then I play with my son. Then guess what? Then I go back. But most of the time, if you ask my wife, I eat, put my phone away. I have lunch with my family. I don't look at my phone. Soon as my food is done, I say, all right, babe, see you later. Go back into my office, and I lock myself in my office, and I get the job done. Why? Because I see identity about myself. I know without a shadow of a doubt I'm a winner. I know that. I know that this dude is a winner. What does Jay-Z say in one of his songs? It's an old song. He says, throw me anywhere on God's green earth and I'll triple my worth. Those aren't lyrics to me. You know what that is? To me, that's a philosophy. To me, it's not, everybody hears that as lyrics, it just sounds cool. They don't really know what that shit means. To me, what that means is that dude's identity is, I'm going to win no matter what. My identity is, I'm going to win no matter what. Write this down. It takes half a decade to make life fair. It takes half a decade to make life fair. Denise, how long have you been in real estate?
Involved or licensed?
Involved, total.
About 5.
Perfect. That's half a decade. Is your life different than when you were working at T-Mobile?
Oh, yeah.
Do you drive a better car than when you were working at T-Mobile? Yes. Damn right it is. Half a decade. See, too many people want that microwave success, though. Is that right? We live in instant gratification. Fast food isn't fast enough. I know some of you guys are staying with your microwave right there for 1 minute. Fucking microwave, what the hell, man? Yes or no? You can't even wait a minute. Here's one of the things that winners do. Winners know how to delay gratification. Winners know how to create that season of separation. If you ever thought that life wasn't fair, I thought life wasn't fair. When I was 18 years old, I graduated from high school. All these people were out there getting student loans, going to school, getting a job, having a license. I couldn't get none of those. I was an illegal immigrant. I graduated from high school, no Social Security. Hey, you got a license, JC? No, I got no license. I don't got a Social Security card. I can't get it.
I remember.
You remember that? Damn right. I would drive around acting like I had a license. Hey, act natural. Hey, don't act natural. Right? And then, what happens when you say, don't look back? What do they do? Right? I've had cars taken away from me from police. On Lakewood, between Gallatin and Florence, my Honda Civic, 2003, I believe, Honda Civic, got taken away. It had no plates, but I was driving around like it had some plates. I had no license, but I was driving around like I had a license. Then I get pulled over. Hey, man, pulled you over because you got no plates. License and registration. It's like, man, I don't have a license and registration, bro. I don't have a license. They took my car away. I also been arrested. Because I got enough tickets like that. Eventually say, hey, man, we got to take you to jail, bro. You keep driving without a license. But see, I had to drive to work. How many of you guys ever felt that life wasn't fair? I tried to go join the Marines. Late September 2001. 2 weeks after 9/11. I had just won a world title in karate, best shape of my life. Somebody says, you can't go to school, you can't get a job, but you know what you could do? What? You could go join the military. You join the military, they'll send you to war, but you'll get your papers to help out your mom. I said, bet. I'll take that. 9/11 was 2 weeks earlier. I said, bet, I'll go. I get on the bus, and I go to the Marine Corps station on Belgrave and Pacific. Walk into the recruiter's office and say, I want to be a Marine. And if you can send me to boot camp tomorrow, I'll be there. True story. Come on in. They sit me down. Then they find out that I don't have a social security number. He says, we can't help you. We don't accept people. I said, but my friend told me that you guys do help people in my situation. He says, we used to a few years ago. We don't do that anymore. So now I can't get a job. I can't go to school because I can't afford it. I can't get a job to pay it. The school won't give me loans. The military won't take me. Do you think I felt that life wasn't fair then?
Yes.
Did I choose where I was born?
No.
No. But you know what? 5 years, you can make life fair. Fucking right you can. See, I get goosebumps. That's why when people give me excuses, I say, man, all excuses are equal. I don't accept excuses, dude. Because I've had it bad, but some of you guys had it worse. My mom left Mexico, an abusive relationship, right, to come to this country knowing nobody here. Left us. You imagine? Louis and I were about 4 and 3 years old. Imagine, I have a 6-year-old now. I cannot imagine leaving him for 2 years. That is heartbreaking. But she did that, and that was the right move. Was that brave?
Yes.
Some of you guys have some similar stories. Guess what? But 5 years. See, here's what most people don't realize. Check this out. And if I had a whiteboard, I would draw it out. Here's the way it looks like. Yeah? Okay. You know what? Can you put that up?
That was a
put that
sign.
up. Yes. 5 years to make life fair. I'm going to put things in perspective right now with a whiteboard. 5 years. Here's the deal. Most people, they're not willing to pay the price consistently and persistently. They're not willing to do the right things long enough. And that's why, but guess what? 5 years are going to go like this. Everybody snap your fingers. 5 years are going to go like this. How many of you guys remember 2016? Right? That was 5 years ago, yeah? Was that fast or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
What if you became the champion? Acted as if. Yeah, yeah.
I'll do it for
Yeah, that's fine. And then what I'll do is I'll show them as well. So, here's, okay, could you erase that, please? Is that okay? 5 years to make life fair. So here's what's going to happen. Imagine if in 2016 you said, I'm going to be the most consistent real estate agent there is. I'm going to, if it's knock on doors, if it's making cold calls, if it's whatever. If I was a new real estate agent, knowing what I know now, I would go and say, Jose.
Are you doing the life of money?
No.
Okay, good.
I will go and say,
Ya lo saboré con esa
okay,
mano.
good. I will go and say, hey, listen, give me the listings you don't want. Hey, you got some listings you don't want to do, or that you're not doing this weekend? I'll take them. I don't care. I just need to do activity. That area sucks, not a lot of people go there. Doesn't matter. I got nothing better to do. I got my broke-ass friends. They're trying to invite me to go to Wayne House. Right? What the hell I got to do? Or sleep in. I'm not sleeping in. You know why? Because I'm broke.
Yep.
My friends are celebrating being broke. They're at the club. Right now, I know that that's not really the case. But at usual times, aren't there a lot of people at the club celebrating nothing? They've accomplished nothing. They're trying to impress people that don't like them. They're trying to impress people that are not impressed, spending money that they don't have, right? It's like, what are you guys celebrating? Doesn't make sense, right? So guess what? But here's the way it looks. Here's somebody's adult life, right? Or somebody's life, I should say, right? Life. So if this is your life, there's a bunch of years in your life. Let's say, for example, that's 100 years, right? The Bible says you could live to 120 years old, and there's people that have and live longer than that. So let's say, for example, even if it's 80, 90 years, I plan to live to 120 or die trying. Some of y'all get that on the way home. So let's say, for example, see, they're just getting it. You see that? Now some that are getting it are thinking, shit, I ain't gonna laugh now because he's gonna know that I just got it. So let's say this is 100, this is 100 years, right? Okay? It's a long time. What did I say? What, half a decade for what?
Change your
To
life.
make life fair. Here's what half a decade represents. That block. That's what I'm asking you to dedicate. When you look at it, but here's how most people look at half a decade. They look at it from here, half a decade.
Yeah.
Instead of get outside of the picture, there's my life. Where's half a decade? That's half a decade. And by the way, it can be a lot less than that. Some people in a year or two completely change their life. Even if it took a decade, would it be worth it?
Yeah.
Damn right it is. What if a decade goes by and you own 5 properties with rental income, 10 properties with rental income? You got 5 buyer's agents. You are the man or the woman in your city. People are calling you for you to sell their house for no less than 6%. Would it be worth it?
Yes.
Damn right. You got minimum $1 million liquid. Damn right it would be worth it. But you know what most people are going to do along the way? Instead of following the straight line, they're going to get distracted. They're going to get depressed. They're going to start thinking about it. They're going to hang out with the wrong people. Unsuccessful people have significantly more starts and stops.
Yep.
In the beginning of the year, even now, some gyms are opening up. I go to a gym that never closed, which is cool, right? Secretly open, right? But the point is,
Don't share the address.
I know, I won't. Come January, I hate January for that reason. All of these posers show up to the gym with this New Year, New Me t-shirt. They don't have the t-shirt, but they might as well, right? They're at the gym, and I'm like, your ass is 45 days away from being out of here. Get the hell out of here. You've been doing this shit the last 15 years. Let me get my workout in, dog.
That's why I'm not going in January, I'm going in March.
There you go. There you go. At least in March, you'll camouflage. People say, oh, he must be a real one. You know what I mean? But the point is, let's take this out, right? I just wanted to show them this. This is what half a decade looks like for the people that aren't seeing it. It's half a decade. 5 years. 5 years to change your life. You imagine 5 years? Now, how many people in here are new? By show of hands. How many people in here are new? Okay, great. Those of you guys that are new, here's what you got to do. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is Jim Rome. Make up in numbers what you lack in skill. You're not that good. If Carlos goes out there, knocks on doors, and he talks, interacts with X amount of people, let's say it's 20 people, and he gets somebody to bite, says, I'm interested in buying or selling, right? I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know what your ratios are, right? But you have to go out there and talk to 100 people to get the same result. Guess what? When he goes and talks to 100 people in a week, you talk to 500 people in a week. Make up in numbers what you lack in skill. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But see, self-confidence. How do you develop self-confidence? Keeping promises to yourself. When you know that you say, I'm going to work out this many days a week. I'm going to prospect this many days a week. I'm going to work here to here. And you keep those promises to yourself, your identity starts to increase. Your identity starts to increase because you know you're the man. I remember I was broke, busted, and disgusted. I remember I had a girlfriend. I won't mention her name, but this guy knows who she is. I gave her a Coach bag one day. A purse. Not a purse, the clutch, right? But she didn't have a bag to match it. I borrowed money from my homies to buy it. So $160, Macy's and Downey. I'll never forget. $160, that was a lot of money in that time. Proud, I handed it to her for her birthday. You know what she tells me? What am I going to do with this? I don't got a bag to match this clutch. Let me tell you something. Years later, she wanted us to go out again. I was like, you know what? I don't got the personal development to match with you. Does that make sense? But see, that right there, those little things, they can either make somebody or break them. I believe that most successful entrepreneurs, they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder. Hell yeah. I remember I created that season of separation. I said, all of these homies, remember we used to play poker, bro, till 4 in the morning at Monchi's house? 4 or 5 in the morning, right? You know, Louis.
Her house now?
Oh, is that right?
Oh, no,
No, that's
no.
No.
It was Francisco.
Yes. But at Monchi's house, we used to play all the time.
Yeah, we did.
During the week, like 3 times a week. You gotta know that you're leaving at 4 or 5 in the morning, a couple times a week playing poker. You know that you're not doing the right thing, right? You know that your friends, they're cool, but they're probably not the best people to hang out with. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He and I both agree. Us 3, we used to be there. My brother, Jose, and myself. But guess what? We started separating ourselves. I made a decision, I'm not gonna hang out with the homies. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna put my head down. When these guys see me again, they're not gonna recognize me. I'm gonna be a different person. Then guess what happens? I go out there and I make $1 million when I'm 30 years old. In 1 year, $1 million in commissions when I'm 30 years old. Right? Thank you. And guess what? My identity was the identity that I wasn't seeking approval. So when they were like scoffing, like, yeah, whatever. This fool thinks he's too good. This fool, this and that. Some people, not all of them, but some of them, right? You know what happened? I didn't care because I wasn't searching their approval. I was at a different level, but I knew that if I stayed there, right? If you hang out with 5 broke people, you'll be number 6. You hang out with 5 negative people, you'll be number 6. Guess what? If you're at a level 80 and Jose's at a level 200, you hang out with him long enough, you're going to start going at least to a level 120, at least to a level 150.
That's right.
Your association, proximity. There's power in association. Where are we going to end up in the next couple of years is our decisions. So here's the deal. Don't major minors. What are some minors? Designing some business cards or flyers. Social media scrolling. Gossiping. Planning during the day. Watching videos. What the heck is somebody doing? Gossiping, social media scrolling, complaining. Hey dog, I don't have any escrows, bro. That's why your ass don't got no escrows. I got a friend of mine that told me, hey man, I'm broke, bro. What advice do you got? I said, I got you, dog.
That's right.
I got you. What advice do I got? I got 2 questions. He says, go for it. I said, do you have a TV? Do you own a TV, bro?
Get rid of it.
He says, yes. Do you have a couch? He says, yes. I said, sell them. That's the reason why your ass is broke. You know what my mentor told me before I made $1 million? He says, don't have a TV in your house or a couch. You should have a bed to get there and lay your ass at night because you're so exhausted. You should be too busy during the day and too tired at night to worry. It takes hard work. But guess what? It takes that identity. It takes that bulletproof mindset to say, the old me is dead. You got people that didn't believe in you. You have a girlfriend or a boyfriend that didn't value you, that didn't believe in you. You know what? The best revenge is success. And guess what? Don't go back and throw it in their face. Success itself will do it. I have people drop off of social media following me. Right? So guess what? These are the minors. What are some of the majors? How much time do I got, Jose? I think we're about done. Okay. All right. This is the last slide. Door knocking, open house, cold calling, showing properties, listing appointments, submitting offers, fill in the blank, etc. Those are the majors. What is a percentage I recommend you spend on majors? I recommend 70 to 80% at least on majors. Now you know what they are. See, because a lot of times in sales, people go into a day, they don't know what they're going to do for the day. They go into their day just blind. Right? Hey, I know that I should probably make some phone calls. Well, how many phone calls should you make? Have your DMO, your daily method of operation. I know how many calls I need to make for the day. I work with a to-do list. And I know that if I have, in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, The Science of Getting Rich says that it is literally a science to get rich. And whether you follow this science by accident or on purpose, you cannot help but to get rich. Think about that. Just like a formula. You mix this and mix this, you get this. Same thing with getting rich. And a big part of it is your mindset. And he says if you have enough successful days with your plan to get rich, where you identify and you execute those successful days, you cannot help but to get rich. So is every day a successful day? So at the end of the day, a couple questions I ask myself that you should probably ask yourself is, do I deserve to sleep at night? That bed right there is a privilege for you to lay your head on that pillow because of the work that you put in today. Would I work with me or would I buy from me? And third, would I follow me? Because if you won't follow you, why would your customers follow you? If you wouldn't buy from you, why would your customers buy from you? Does that make sense? So these are the majors. Anyways, my time is up, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Give them another round of applause. I've known JC for many years. It is true. I didn't like him when he was a security guard, but he grew on me. But we go way back. I mean, he remembers when we used to share rooms in Vegas just to be in conventions. Remember, JC, like 10 to a room?
That's right.
Just to be at a convention. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But those are the struggles that have built him and have created who he is. And I appreciate you for being here and sharing your knowledge and everything with our agents. Thank you guys once